Hello Capricorn, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus signs. Welcome to your tarot reading here at the Intuitive Teacup. This will be a tarot reading for the month of November, roughly. Please come into the reading with an open heart and an open mind, a desire to learn something or better yourself. If the messages that come through don't resonate for you, that's completely fine. Feel free to push them aside. You may want to revisit them at a later time or date. Please do remember you are accountable and responsible for all your own actions and decisions. This is optional advice, guidance, and energy check-in. Let's set the intention to have some fun and get you some helpful, insightful messages. All right? Highly advise my Capricorns out there to check your rising sign, particularly for this video. I'm going to introduce a tiny bit of astrology here, and that is going to resonate more for you in terms of your rising sign. So if you're able to look that up, recommend that you do so. But of course, you're more than welcome to watch this video as well. All right, Capricorn, you're showing up this month as the Eight of Pentacles, which is an excellent card for getting the work done, rolling up your sleeves, putting lots of effort and time and dedication into building the life of your dreams. It can certainly relate to your career, money, and finances, but it's a Sun in Virgo card, so it is illuming the idea of service, and you get what you give. So in a more energetic way, it's almost like what you put your love and life and devotion into, you're going to get back in some way. And I think you know that, right? But I think it's just a reminder that if you are sort of at some... I feel like you've hit a bump. I'm almost wanting to say like emotionally. It's like you're just kind of feeling like, ugh, is all this time and effort worth it? I'm going to say yes. I'm just feeling that in the cards. I am. So, stick to it. Take necessary breaks for your mental health and physical health and well-being, of course. But you are making progress, but it might be slow and steady progress. So yeah, hang tough. You are making progress. Let's see, where do I want to start? You have a lot of messages here. Let's start with this Venus transit in your 10th house of career. So you have the Temperance card coming through. So Venus is a planet very much associated with money, but it also is a planet associated with relaxation and pleasure, things we do for fun, for hobby. There can be a sweet aspect to Venus. Quite literally, it rules, sweet food and candy, right? But with that, there's sort of a softer, more cushiony feel when Venus is transiting any area of your chart. So for you guys, it's going to be sort of more in your public standing and your public persona and possibly long-term work goals. For you specifically, Capricorn, yes, there could be, I would say, a stronger connection to mentors and bosses and leaders and those who can really help you get ahead and promote you in the coming month. So share your ideas, be open to collaborations because, Venus is also the planet of beauty, and in a less superficial sense, by nature, it's going to make you come off as more interesting and more charming and more put together and more well-spoken. Those are kind of like, Venus type energies coming through that's going to work to your benefit. Very persuasive energy too, I think. Now with that, and yes, there may be a small pay increase or getting sort of funds in alignment for future goals and long-term projects, specifically work-related ones. And possibly home-related ones too, house repairs or money going into the house or putting money towards a house or towards land, property, possible. When Venus conjuncts the South Node, though, there is going to be a need to release something. Energetically, something that has served its purpose, and you might be quite sentimental about it and attached to it, but you have to remember that it is making room for new things in your life. And for my Capricorns, I'm getting more the idea of sorry, that was clumsy. The idea of letting go of some sort of responsibility that maybe you liked having, and for some reason or another, that gets taken away. Maybe it's sort of a part of your job that is outsourced or given to a new person. So just be aware of that there is going to be something you're being asked to give up in, very likely in a workplace and for some of you, it might even be your long-term dreams and goals and ambitions have changed. And I'm not saying entirely, right? But yeah, allow things to exit your life organically. And when it feels like the universe is encouraging this to happen, take it as a sign rather than fighting it tooth and nail. You do have Temperance showing up there, so it's reminding you to be patient. It's reminding you to, I really am wanting to say, be a little bit softer in your encounters with people. as a sign who typically upholds this very professional demeanor and status, there might be more of a need to sort of get on the level with coworkers, with bosses, and put yourself in a way or in a light where you are very approachable and very, I'm going to say it, Capricorn, I don't mean to make you cringe, but very kind of like chipper and upbeat and interested, right? Because it's opening you up to make strong connections in the workplace. So that would be advantageous to you. Particularly, there could be a female boss or a powerful female figure, potentially a Sagittarius, who could have major influence on your career in the coming month or so, or a connection you make. It could be online, it could be on LinkedIn, but something that may actually, as you phase out a certain thing or part of your life with that kind of South Node release we talked about, it may make room for a new mentor or a new boss or some new promotion to come kind of down the pipeline. I'll put it that way. So there's a lot of focus right now on friendship groups and expanding out into the community. You may be working on growing your business or growing your influence, networking, branching out. Very likely in terms of money, but also in terms of things you enjoy: pleasure, sport, hobby, joining communities, clubs, classes. There's a chance to start something new in a more group-oriented fashion. And it's funny, I said something similar to Cancer. You might feel a little bit shy. You might sort of be in unfamiliar territory and maybe feeling a little bit like you don't belong or that you're the outsider. I don't think that's true, but it's just sort of that adjustment period of feeling like the newbie. I think you're quickly going to find your footing. I think you recognize that this could be a tremendously valuable experience for you, and you're right. And there could even be sort of this idea with the Six of Cups of making these really important soulmate connections, like these kind of soul contracts, if you'll go with me here, in terms of meeting your people, finding your tribe, just through kind of, again, everyday kind of activities that you enjoy, like-minded individuals, and kind of building a family out in the world, aside from, family by blood and your relatives and your marriage partner. It's like finding your people. I just feel like there's a really good opportunity for you to branch out of your comfort zone and get to know a new group of people. I see that being very positive. With Mars there's going to be a lot of energy and people who maybe help to motivate and inspire you, and maybe serve as some sort of catalyst or, again, motivator, initiator, champion of you and setting long-term goals and sticking to them. Maybe this has to do with some sort of exercise group where there's a lot of, I'm hearing the word endorsement. Maybe that makes sense for some of you. But I almost feel like there's a really good group camaraderie of supporting and appreciating each other and cheering each other on. And yeah, just being part of that group, it feels really good. It feels really lovely. So yeah, Scorpio season could be a really good time to just hang out with friends, make those connections. There could be a friendship that maybe has, I'm wanting to say it this way. You turn the dial up on some sort of friendship in terms of the passion. So maybe, for some of you, maybe there's a friendship that becomes more romantic and, possibly more intimate and sexual. That's certainly not going to be the case for everyone, but still with that Mars energy, I'm going to say there's a relationship in your life and a friendship group maybe where the passion increases. And so maybe that means that you guys are going in on some sort of important collaboration, particularly a creative one, or maybe even a spiritual one, where it seems like you guys are vibing together and there's an ability to I don't know, with 10 of Cups, experience great happiness through some sort of strong partnership. I like that very much. So do keep in mind there is going to be a planetary sizzle when Mars opposes Uranus. I'm trying to think what day that is. I want to give you a rough idea. Let's see. I want to say it's like the 11th or the 10th of November. Mars-Uranus combinations can be very fiery and explosive. Uranus is ultimately a planet that wants absolute freedom. It wants to rebel. It wants to shake things up. It values its independence. It wants to revolt. It wants to revolutionize. It wants to create a new future. It wants to be innovative and unique and different. Mars can be very, again, passionate, pioneer, go-getter, active, but it can also be very aggressive and angry energy, like hot-headedness. So typically in oppositions, it's people coming up against people. So there could be an argument within a friends group. If you are a parent, there could be an issue that you're needing to sort out with your child. There could be some sort of group or community event where just something goes awry. It might even be, I know this is really random, but something involving like technology that like doesn't come through for an important project or presentation, or something that is affecting a group of people. Yeah, and I don't know, for a lot of you it might be an issue with your child. Erratic behavior, where there's a lot of like there's like behavioral issues, and it's triggering you in a very passionate way to sort of tackle this issue, but in a way where both people maybe aren't using the most tact or diplomacy or approaching it in a gentle way. I definitely sense some stubborn energy here. So, you know, things to be cognizant of anyway, right? What else can I tell you? For some of you, this is for a very, very select few of you, there could be news of surprise pregnancies. I don't think that's for most of you, but I am putting it out there just because, you know, you have children coming up in the house of children, you have that Mars sex energy, and I'm just saying, Ace of Wands, etc., etc. Yeah, you in a fire sign might be quite fertile. We'll put it that way. All right, so Sagittarius season is going to bring to light sort of what is hidden away from you. It's going to shed light on things about your inner psyche. Your 12th house has a lot to do with spirituality, but also self-sabotage and self-undoing. For my Capricorns, there's something to do with indecision or not wanting to move forward with something because of a lot of fear that surrounds it. There is going to be, hold on, let me get this straight here for a second. Moving forward in some sort of work dynamic or work situation, you're very on the fence about it. And it may have to do with not feeling confident about who you're being partnered with, feeling like you could do something more independently, or going rogue, or feeling like you want to go out on your own and maybe just have more responsibility versus sharing a title or sharing the salary. I'm not exactly sure what that is. I do actually think you shouldn't deny yourself the potential for this collaboration, or maybe it's a one-off, right? Maybe it's a one-to-one client thing. Because I do think you would get a lot of tremendous pleasure and joy out of it. And I do think there's a chance to learn something and absorb a new perspective or new material on someone who has a lot of wisdom to share. But something about that is coming up in terms of like your fear. And I'm not exactly sure what to do with that, other than, you know, with the Eight of Swords, it's like sometimes the things we're believing and telling ourselves are not necessarily true. Sometimes it's not based in reality. It's this sort of projection of our fears and what could be, that just the mere idea of that keeps us stuck, because we're like, oh gosh, you know, what if? That's scary unknown. The good news with the Eight of Swords is like they are your thoughts. So in a sense, and I mean this gingerly and sensitively as I can, you are what's holding yourself back. So the minute you start to recognize, you know, I do have a lot of fear regarding the situation, if you take that as a cue from the universe that, okay, well, it's another obstacle for me to tackle. I said this to another sign. It's like, sometimes the things we fear most, that's almost a sign from the universe of an area that we need to fully explore and discover, and kind of jump in head first in terms of exposing that fear of being vulnerable or not knowing enough or feeling a little bit insecure, because ultimately you're going to walk away from it and have built a lot of strength in that area. So again, I know it's kind of stating the obvious, but whatever you're struggling with now in terms of wanting to move forward but being apprehensive, and if it does have to do with fear, this idea that, you know what, because I recognize that I'm afraid of this, that is going to be the motivator for me to go and explore it and understand that this is something necessary and something I'm meant to experience, even though it's not necessarily comfortable for me. You have Temperance coming through, so I always take that as a sign that, you know, your angel guides are watching out for you. You know, the divine, the universe, whatever you believe in, there's a higher purpose behind this. So be open-minded, be flexible. I think you have a lot of brain power or mind power. Something about your mind is I'm not sure how to phrase this, but it's like your mind is the solution, or your creative, innovative ideas are going to be of great use to you at this time. So you have the capacity to do this. You have the ability to do this. So try your best not to talk yourself out of it. In terms of those who are interested in dating, you do have the Six of Cups coming up. So it's possible that there may be a connection from your past that comes back to the surface, possibly with a Virgo, maybe a Scorpio, maybe. But it's complicated. If it's with a Scorpio, it's complicated. There was some drama there. It's like the dust may still be settling from something that happened between you guys. And I get the idea that there is a lot of passion there. But sometimes it's like you kind of get into this like hot and heavy stuff with your Scorpio. But then, I don't know, other issues, you don't quite know where they stand, or there's disagreements, or you're not necessarily always in alignment. So I'm not saying there's no potential there, but you definitely have some things to work out with the Scorpio if it does come back around. I do think the Scorpio is still very much holding on to you and hanging on to you and wondering if this is going to, if you're their long-term person, or if you'll give them another chance, or vice versa, if they should, reach back out to you. I do think, this could be a new message as well. I do think there is someone who's coming to you with a good offer. That could also resonate in terms of your job and your career. And then, in terms of long-term partnership right now, you have a fire sign energy coming through, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. So, maybe. I feel like someone who works as a healer or in the medical field, doctor, nurse, practitioner, it could even be something like spiritual healing. That may come into play in terms of a long-term partnership, either business or romantic. There may be some responsibilities that are, well, let me start here. There's going to be a full moon in your 6th house of Gemini towards the end of the month. And so things are becoming more clear and obvious to you regarding some necessary changes and transformation in terms of your daily habit and routine, as well as your work-life balance, and taking care of your health. There may be, again, kind of a similar message, an initiation or a start to better care for yourself and seek out better connections, friends, romantic prospects, work partners that treat you better and immediately make it known that they value you more than it feels like you've been aware of or received in the past. There may be some sort of potential promotion or opportunity for you to excel in the work field, but it may require you to brush up on your education or studies, or take some sort of course, or learn a language, or, I don't know, get some sort of certificate or more experience behind your belt before this is officially passed on to you. I see that, especially for those who are teachers in any capacity, or if loosely your profession has to do with passing on knowledge and information, teaching, publishing, writing, there's like an open spot and you have your eye on it. And I don't know if you get this from your boss or a mentor or someone who controls that position, but it's like you're almost there, but you're being asked to like go back to the chalkboard and then, come back to me in a few months, or work on this and then present me your portfolio and we'll talk. So it's not a no, it's like a maybe, or we're going to push pause on this or put it on the back burner because you have other obligations and responsibilities. Some of you may have to take time off of work or ask for time off to deal with something with a sibling, or possibly a parent, but I'm getting more of a sibling. You may have a sibling that's kind of in crisis or going through a difficult time, and you just feel like you need to go visit them and help them sort some things out or be a listening ear. You may have a sibling that recently went through a divorce or is having trouble in their relationship or going through a health battle of some kind. I don't do fear-based readings, and I have to put it out there. You may have a sibling that's requiring some help and time and attention. It could also be a cousin. It is a good time, though, for studying. Saturn is no longer retrograde. It is going direct in your house of mental energy, essentially. So, things involving your mind, studying, writing, reading. It could be publishing, potentially. But I feel like there is a fresh outlook or perspective where you can start to gain momentum in this area of life to pursue some sort of long-term goal. Some of you may be delving deeper into marketing in some capacity. And there may be an opportunity to take a trip that would be very enjoyable and pleasure filled. You have the Ten of Cups coming up in your ninth house. Some of you are going to get good news regarding a court case or some sort of legal matter. Let's see. And there could be positive news an upcoming business partnership that's going to be bomb. I'm hearing literally like cha-ching, and I'm not sure if it's long term or if it's just a one and done, but I don't know, this Venus trine Pluto in your house of money and sort of your public reputation and public standing, something transforms in a very powerful way that could affect your money or your public persona. I know that's a weird way of putting it, but it puts you in a more advantageous position to get clients, to meet people, you understand what I mean? Some of you may end up taking over responsibilities for paying the bills. Maybe that's in your workplace. Maybe you have more of a job that focuses on the finances of your business or your workplace. Others of you may be taking over financial responsibilities for someone in your family who isn't able to do it for themselves. Maybe you're taking some burden or taking some slack off of the plate of your sibling, or again, a parent who may be struggling to figure out their own finances. You may be stepping through. I don't know if you're lending them money per se, but it seems like you're stepping up to help them organize the money, if that makes sense, or helping them pay the bills on time or something like that. There might be a connection at work with a Virgo that you meet. I don't know if it's platonic or friendship or romantic or what, but yeah, that there's potential to collaborate with a Virgo. I'll say it like that. Some of you are finally going to quit smoking with that full moon in Gemini focused on your health and taking better care of your body. It might be a long time coming. If it's not smoking, it's getting rid of some habit similar to that. It's the idea of releasing or letting go of something that the benefits of quitting far outweigh the sort of spurts of joy or fun that you get from it. Like in the long-term picture, it's just not worth it. So it's like you're, what is the expression? You're throwing in the towel on some sort of unhealthy habit, or maybe it's not unhealthy. It's just, it's not serving you in some capacity. Maybe it's going to help you to save money by not spending it on frivolous things or something like that. For a lot of you, it does involve smoking though. There may be a work opportunity that presents itself, but you're having to decline it initially because it's too much travel. It's too much gas. It's too much. They might be asking too much of you, and you're at a place in your life where you're just not able to accept that role. Do keep in mind that you're never going to miss out on anything that is truly meant to be. So it would be better to honor and respect your own limitations and what you're capable of, and passing up on something knowing that if it's meant to be, it'll come back around. And maybe you're not telling this person, this boss, this friend, it's a hard no. Maybe it's like, listen, I'd love to, but here's why I can't. They're going to know that and keep you in mind for the future. So don't feel like it's do or die. It's like, well, if I don't do this, I may never get the chance again. That's lack mentality. Don't operate from that place, right? It will come back around if it's meant to be. There could be a fire sign from your past who reaches out, an Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. There may be a very strong connection to a mother. Either, I have no idea. I'm almost getting the idea of like they were in your mother's classroom if your mother was a teacher, or it's like, I don't know what this is, Capricorn, but there's some connection to a mother here, but possibly in terms of a friendship or a dating prospect for you. There could be a fire sign who has come out of a very unexpected long-term relationship, and they're on the market again, and they're wasting no time in reaching out to you and being like, oh, hey, Capricorn, what's up? Remember me? Remember that time we dated in high school or whatever? And you're just like, oh, this person? There's potential 10 of Cups energy there. So it doesn't necessarily mean long-term forever, but, there could be some very strong vibes and strong connections that at minimum bring you a lot of joy and happiness. And, at minimum, it feels like it could be a very good friendship, if not more. They seem to be opening the door to, maybe there's something more here than I initially thought. All right. Any last messages for Capricorn? What haven't I touched upon? yeah, I keep getting messages about a sibling that's needing your advice or guidance. They may be dealing with an addiction issue as well. Someone who's in your circle of friends, who's they look like they have it together, but it's like you see through them, and not in a superficial like judging them way. I mean more, it's like you feel their soul. You can tell something isn't right, and it's almost like you've been waiting for a crack so that you could kind of find your way in and kind of approach them in a way where they don't feel like they're being attacked, but you can sort of have this open discussion or forum of like, hey, it seems like you're struggling. Like, how can I help you? Or I don't know in what capacity you're able to or going to help them, but just you being there and you being present is helpful enough. But yeah, you may sort of help to inspire them, seek help or counseling or go to AA or whatever this is. Which is a nice message. You seem like you're really supporting someone through their trials and tribulations this month. There also may be a responsibility for you to take something to do with your vehicle. I don't know if it's finally get that new car or take better care of your car or get it fixed, or I don't know, something to do with your car. It's not necessarily something you want to do, but there's the responsibility of like, yeah, I better do this before it becomes a greater issue. All right, Capricorn, that's what I got for you. Please remember to like, share, subscribe, and I will see you very soon for more tarot. Bye.